All right, guys, welcome to the stream. I know everyone is new because this is a new stream. What we're doing today is we're going to take about an hour and try and see what I can take a 1200 brand new rapid rating and see how high I can get it in an hour of play. So we're going to start off, and you know what? Let's use the tournament feature, because if we use a tournament feature, I'll get better games, and I may actually be able to get this rating even higher. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a rapid. There it is, Rapid Arena. Let's go ahead and join. All right, and let's go ahead and see if we can get it. Oh, that starts in 15 minutes. I don't want a game. All right, so we'll come back to that. Instead, we'll just go ahead and get a 10-minute game. So let's get a 10-minute game and see if we can find somebody. All right, so wow, 1700. Huh, how did I end up with a 1697? Is this a blitz rating? I thought it was a rapid game. Oh, they use your rapid rating, your blitz rating, to transfer over for rapid games. That's interesting. I didn't know they did that. You learn something new every day. So I guess I'll take that 1200 rating and see how high I can get it. But I'm already starting off at 1697. So can I get it to 1800, 1900 today? I don't know. Let's find out. So, I'm surprised he's taking this long to think. 1740 should be familiar with the Pirc defense. This is very similar to a King's Indian. The big difference from this to a King's Indian is that white hasn't been able to play c4. So it actually allows black a little bit more counterplay in the center. And I have the choice in the long run to either play e5 or c5 as my pawn break. Everything else is going to feel pretty normal. Let's see. Sorry, I just realized that the whole board wasn't on the screen. So let's see if we can fix that. Come on. All right, let's see. Can we adjust that just a little bit? It's what I get for being a brand new streamer, right, guys? Takes a little bit of time to learn how to do all the things, right? And I'm not going to be able to do this well. All right, I'll have to play with this later. Is this... All right, let's see. I don't want to spend too long because I do want to try and play a good game of chess. So he's going to come here. Do I care? Now let's attack the center. We'll do it now. Can I fix it while he's thinking? Let's see. Sorry, guys. Just trying to use the time while he's thinking and see if I can adjust the bottom of this. There we go. Get the whole board on here. Did that do it? let's see. No, that did not do it. So we need to adjust it one more time. Hang on, guys. Almost done. Almost done. Here, let's... we're so close. I got the whole board on there. We'll edit this just a little bit more. Thanks for being patient. Again, I am so very new to streaming that all of this I'm just trying to get used to. There we go. Now you can see my clock as well. So I let him get a little bit of a time advantage because I was messing with that, but I think I'm okay. So let's catch up. We're going to try and catch up on development and on the clock here. Play a little quicker. So what are we looking at here? So his whole idea, so he might be trying to castle queen side. He hasn't moved his bishop, knight, or rook on the king side. So I have to trade. And now I need to be a little bit careful that he's going to come in with queen g7, but honestly, that's not a real threat. So let's see if I can come out and make some progress here. Because while he's doing all of these moves, I'm going to try and get a lead on development. He's attacking, and attacking a little bit early is, in my opinion, because he doesn't have the support of his pieces to make a really solid attack. So if he's not going to be able to be effective, I need to make sure I have a counter attack once I finish defending his attack. Otherwise, he'll just build up more of an attack. There we go. So I think his idea is probably to go g4, g5, make me have to move my knight. If I have to move my knight, this rook gets a little bit questionable, and the h7 pawn is probably going to drop. But I think my b pawn will be faster than his g pawn as far as forcing moves. His e4 pawn is only defended by the knight, so my thought is that I'm going to go ahead and be able to kind of attack this square here. Yeah, so there's kind of my target. The idea being that if I'm able to push, his knight has got to move, and then this becomes an option. Again, I need to be careful looking at the ideas of pawn down, pawn to g4, g5. So, and then maybe followed up by some h pawns. So it might just be a race of whose flank attack is faster. Yeah, so he did what I expected him to do. So we'll go ahead, push the b pawn. That's what I think he's threatening. I think he's got to deal with the knight first, at which point then I can take the pawn. And yes, the queen can come in. The queen can come in. The rook's got to slide over. And then the queen can take. because I can't just come back because that just drops the rook. So that's fairly well forced. So the question becomes, can I make sure I get compensation? Because right now we're basically trading the e4 pawn for the h7 pawn. So I need to make sure that him losing that center pawn is meaningful. So I should be able to try and develop my pieces a little easier. So I probably need to think about moves like e6. So moves to think about. e6 with the idea that once I recapture, the knight has somewhere to go. Gets my rooks closer to being connected, try and get my king tucked out of the way. This knight, just looking for any tactics. I mean, that's a clear threat, but the queen's just going to move. And so it's not really threatening to capture. I don't have any checks. Only captures or pawn captures where I can be easily recaptured. Yeah, so looking at my candidate moves, with the idea that I want to try and open up the position now that he's down that center pawn, and I want to try and take advantage of it. Yes, my king's in the center, but I'm going to try and move my king out of the center quickly. The other thing to realize is I'm actually developed a time advantage somehow. If we look at the clocks right now, it's 3:42 to 5:31. So I definitely have squeaked out a time advantage here. So now I have to move the knight, right? Have to move the knight. Let's look at the choices. That is not an option. 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 So these are not options. So the only two options are F6 and G5. G5, I'm going to have to move it again in a minute. I'm going to get an F pawn or the H pawn pushed. And I'll have to move it again pretty quickly. If I go F6, F6 is going to attack the queen and this pawn. So in reality, this pawn move forced me into a tactic where I'm going to win a pawn. So moral of the story is don't do that if you are the opponent. Like don't make your opponent make good moves. Yes, that knight was scary on that half of the board, but he was completely unsupported and wasn't doing anything. He would have been much better off trying to get his knight, his bishops developed. All of his pieces are sitting there in the back row doing nothing. He is so far behind in development that these little pawn pushes aren't going to be fast enough to make a clear, decisive win. So we're going to trade queens. I'm going to get this pawn. Queen trade is offered right now. And that's okay for me. Yes, I'm going to lose the right to castle. But at this point, we're heading towards an endgame, and the king is a powerful piece, so you should use it, is generally the mentality that you want to have. All right, we'll trade down, isolate another pawn. So again, I think his idea is that he's trying to simplify the position, but in trying to simplify it, he's actually making his position a little worse, because now he's given me some targets, because those are unsupported, unconnected. So I have two pawn islands. I have this isolated pawn in the corner, and then I have all these connected pawns. And so I want to see if I can get my rooks connected. I'm going to put them on the B file here. with the idea that, let's see, yeah, let's do that. If he takes, I'm going to take with the knight. If he doesn't take, I'm putting the rook behind it and I'm going to stack him. So now I have my rooks connected. Let's see. Let's get my knight activated, attacking this isolated pawn. Like I said, though, his idea of like, oh, I'm going to simplify the position, make it easier to play, in reality made it easier for me to play. So not a great idea. Welcome to the couple of viewers in there. Feel free to throw out anything. I do have a little bit of a delay in the chat just so that I can kind of play the game the way I'm supposed to. And let's see, what am I doing now? Can I take c4? He's got no checks. Yeah, I think that's just a free pawn. Does anybody have a good dad joke in the chat? All right, so now we're just going to come back, babysit the pawn for a second. I'm going to move the rook to the second rank here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I'm up material. I'm up, let's see, I'm up 2 pawns. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, simplify the position for me. Now these 2 passed pawns are going to be monsters in a minute. And now I've got another one, so I'm just gaining little bits of advantage. So we'll start pushing the pawns. He's got a minute left. I've got 2 minutes. So again, I still have the time advantage. Let's see. If he wants to trade his only active piece for my bishop that's doing nothing, that was stupid. All right, that's like, why is he trying to help me win this game? Like, I don't need his help. Like, I don't even know what he's thinking. So we'll go ahead. Let's see. Push here. Rook moves. That was meaningless. He's going to check me again, of course, because... Oh, and he resigned. I can appreciate that. So there was my first rapid game, and it took me up to 1895. So because this was my very first rapid game, they took my blitz rating and threw it over here, and then because it's still a provisional rating, it's going to go up and down a ton. So that was a really rating changing game. Like 1895 is an awesome rating to have. So let's see if we can get that a little higher. That was 20 minutes, so let's see if we can get a few more games in this hour. How high can I get this rating in an hour? All right, so I'm playing in 1879, and I've got the white pieces. We're going to open with the English. And yeah, so he's playing for a King's Indian setup. So chances are this knight is coming out. At some point, he's going to play either this way or this way. This bishop will probably end up on this long diagonal. So fianchettoed my bishop. So he went c5. We'll bring out the knight. He may go ahead and do this. So we'll go ahead and head for this closed position. We'll bring our bishop out. We're going to castle. So we'll castle, develop our bishop. So I don't think we're going to get the time advantage that we got last time. So now I need to do a little bit of thought because I'm out of my clear opening prep. So some ideas that I have is either f4 or h4, with the idea that I can kind of get an attack going on the king side. But he has moves like f5 that he can kind of counter that with. So let's go ahead. Let's bring our knight over. Prepare to do that kingside attack. Yes, I've weakened my d5 square a little bit, but I'm not too concerned about it. All right, now we're going to go f4 if we have a chance, because it's clearly my square. And let's see, which way do we recapture? Do we recapture with a bishop? Do we recapture with a knight? Or do we recapture with the rook? Oh, he didn't capture. Okay, so he didn't capture, so do we add the pressure? h3 with h4 coming, and then I can follow up with either, can we blow this open? Take g5. Let's go g5, and maybe the knight comes back, because now he's got to make a choice to which way to recapture. And where's the knight going? Because one movers aren't going to win this game. Oh. So the knight here, where's it go after that? Like, yes, we've got a knight, but what's it going to do? Like, it's got nowhere to go to. So if we go h4, he's probably coming g4. The bishop looks scary, but it's not doing anything. The rook isn't doing anything. Do we close the position, root the bishop, and then try and open it up? Let's try that. So we're going to close this side of the board, and then we're going to try and use the... Oh. Did he give us anything by moving the knight? What did he weaken? He weakened d5. I can now put a piece on d5. He weakened f5, but I can't put the rook there. Can I... Let's see. Let's get our knights a little more active, and maybe we'll send the knight back to c3 and then d5. Or we'll exchange the knight, and I'll go back to the plan where I'm going to push h4. It's interesting that he keeps trading these like offering these knight trades. Usually when the position is closed, that's better for him. So I guess I'm going to go for that and then see if I can see what we can do with this. Now I have a giant pawn here. Big old pawn. I also got to speed up. I'm down on the clock a little bit, so maybe that's his plan, is to make it hard for me to find good moves. So now I'm going to swing the rook back to h1, and the idea is that I'm going to play h3. But playing good opponents, that makes it hard to complete your plans, right? They get moves too. Let's see. This feels like if time wasn't a factor, it would be a draw. Because now that the rooks are off, it's a question about like, oh, how does anyone break through? All right, I've got 1, 2, 3. He's got so this pawn was in danger. He had 2 pieces attacking. I had 1, so I can't push that without preparing it a little bit. Let's see. So I've got 1, 2, 3. He's got 3. 1, take, bishop take, bishop take, rook take, rook take, rook take. And then that's my... I think I can do this. I think I can. Well, I've done it. So now the question is can he take, or does he have to? Because I'm pretty sure I'm pushing past. If he doesn't take right here, I think I'm going to push past. So I've got 3. He's got 2. So this should be my file now. Bishop's got to go somewhere, or he can exchange, and we'll exchange. And now what? Try and keep that side of the board closed off. Just try not to give him too much counterplay on that side of the board. Now, I need a good square for my queen. What can we do? What can we do? I've got no checks. The pawn push doesn't really do anything, does it? Pawn push. And then, oh, I like that. So pawn push with the idea that the bishop can get activated. If the king takes, I can check with the king. So I can check with the rook. But we're going to check with, can I do this? No, because then he just takes the pawn. So let's take that pawn first. I do need to be careful that the rook doesn't come in and get really hinky. So let's give a check. And now we can bring the bishop in. I've got some checks possible. This pawn is starting to get a little scary for him, I would think. Let's see. Got to watch out for any hitting tactics. I am like basically gifting him the b pawn right now, but I feel like there's enough threats that he can't take time to do that. let's see. All right, let's attack the queen, and then once the queen moves, my thought is I'm going to bring the queen into h5, h6 check, and then rook check, win the queen. So I'm looking at queen checks here, king's got to step back, rook check, and then the queen can't interpose yet, so the king's got to come here, at which point then the rook comes here with check and wins the queen. So that's the line that I'm looking at right now. And I'm not sure what he does to answer it, because he's got a check, but it's not going to do anything. His queen doesn't have a whole lot of good squares to go to, and his king has even less. So I think this is a win for me. So there's his spite check. I'm going to get out of the way. And I just wanted to make sure I give myself as many squares to run to. I don't want to go to the back rank and let him get more spite checks in. So now his rook has no checks, so his queen has to find somewhere useful to go. I don't see anywhere useful that his queen can be. I don't know, chat, what do you think? Anywhere useful? Alright, so he's trying to swing around. I don't think he's fast enough. So let's come in, follow the plan. There's the first check. G8 is forced. So rook check. King f7 is really the only idea, or you can give the queen away now. King's got to move. Gonna go to the back. Oh, so okay. If he'd gone f8, that would have been checkmate. That would have been a little sweeter. Yeah, there's no checkmates now. We'll just go ahead and win the queen. And we're going to win the rook in a second, too. So this game's over, because he's running out of squares to go to. So he's going to try and run away. I'm going to go ahead and we'll just march the pawn down. Because now what's he going to do? He's got to sack the rook to stop the second queen. So there's a check. Do I care? I don't think I care. He can have the pawn. Now I have another check that I can give. The pawn's going to march to the end of the board. He still has to sacrifice the rook for the pawn. All he did was win a pawn. That was it. So that wasn't a whole lot of much. So I'm surprised he's playing on. He's a good enough player to know when the game's over. So I'm a little surprised that he hasn't resigned. But hey, it means we get to see a checkmate maybe. He's got to give it away, right? Or is he going to try and... Okay, there's the resignation. Cool. So we've officially made 2,000, which is absolutely amazing. This is far exceeding my expectations for today. I was hoping to hit 1,700. I thought I was going to have to grind out from 1200 to 15, 16, 1700. I thought that was going to take me a while. So here we go. We're at 2,700. So let's go ahead. Let's play one more game. I think we can get one more game in the hour. So we'll go for the English again. And here we go. I do like this fianchettoed variation. It's just my preference here. It's much less likely to end up with some sort of like king's or queen's gambit type lines where I might not be as prepped as my opponent. So I like to try and just stick solidly into English setups. That's my general preference. So, and that's always something like as you move up the rating, pay attention to your opening choice. When you're first starting out, it really doesn't make a lot of difference what opening you're going to play, because you're going to get out of the opening so quickly that it really doesn't make a huge difference what opening you're playing. But as you climb that rating ladder, your opening choice, getting familiar positions, is going to be much more important. So being familiar with the setups. I was recently reading an article, or maybe it was a video clip, the idea that one of the things that Magnus Carlsen does so well is that he gets into variations and lines and moves that you can't find in a database. He's playing new moves that have never been seen by like move 6 or move 7, so that just because his opponent is more booked up and like has these positions figured out, doesn't mean that he's going to lose the game, because he's going to get out of those lines quicker. And then it's just chess knowledge versus chess knowledge. And when you're the best in the world, it doesn't matter that you're technically computer aligned -2, because you got to find those. Like those little bits are going to be really hard to prove that advantage. We're not computers. And so just because the computer says, oh, hey, he's leading, we're all mortal, and his opponents definitely are in a place where they're going to have to try and find the right move every time. All right, so I liked the idea of pushing my f3 pawn, but obviously it's pinned by the bishop. So I'm going to try and trade knights and give my my light squared bishop maybe a little bit more scope, or I'm going to lose my queen. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, okay. What's that called? The Botas Gambit is what I hear. So let's take there. Not that that's going to give me anything at all. And I should just resign, shouldn't I? This is a rapid game. I just dropped my queen. If anybody's in the chat right now and wants me to see me try and fight on, give me a quick indicator. Otherwise, I think I'm going to resign. So I'll leave it up to you. If you're in the chat right now, what do you want to? Do you want me to resign, be a good sport, or do I fight on and try and surmount a huge piece deficit? All right, I'm gonna keep fighting. I mean, you never know what happens in these positions where one side is clearly winning. The idea is that, yeah, I've got nothing to lose now. He has to find the right moves to try and convert this to a win. So I'm going to see if I can make this complicated. I'm going to try and get all of my pieces active. And this is still a quick game. Like time is going to play a factor here. So ugh. Ugh. I just fell for another tactic. Do I resign? I should resign. I'm going to resign. I'm down. Yeah, let's resign. Yeah. So if you wanted me to keep playing, I'm sorry. That was. I might be getting tired. I don't know. We'll try one more. Let's try one more game. See if I can redeem that last game with my double blunders. Because that was just horrendous. So, in case you didn't know, E4 is the most common opening on chess.com. So, if you're a black player, definitely think about what you're going to play on the black side of the board against E4. Yeah, D4 comes up, C4 comes up, the ready comes up. You've got all of these other openings, but definitely think about what you want to play against E4. It is the most common opening on chess.com. So let's see. Just trying to develop, put my pieces on good squares. He's got to go A3, make his knight move. If he takes, I'm going to take with the knight. He doesn't take. So let's go ahead and. So yeah, he's trying to trade this bishop and say that my pawn structure is a weakness and a liability, but I'm going to say that his development and his time spent invested in trying to win this pawn is a bigger liability. That's what I'm going to try and say here. If he doesn't play H5 right now, I think I will, just trying to keep this side of the board closed. Because I do have less pieces over there defending. Or can I open the center? Open the center brings his knight back to the center. That doesn't help. But it does give my knight a square to go to in the center. That's not bad. Let's see. Just trying to think about moves. So possible moves that I'm looking at. I'm looking at C4 as a choice. I'm thinking capture is a choice here. Because if I capture, I figure his knight's coming. All right, so he went there. So the idea here now is if I take, he's going to kick this knight back out, where the knight's got to probably end up back where it is, and then he can check. I have to move. He attacks the knight again, and then checkmate on H7 starts to become a possibility. Like there's some optional ideas there that he might go for. So I don't like those ideas, and I'm not gonna try and go into that line because that feels like the wrong idea. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and push. I'm gonna make this bishop feel stupid. It also means that if he takes on g6, I can capture with the f pawn. And so now let's try and counterattack in the center, open things up a little bit. Because his king is still in the center too. As much as my king is a liability over here on the king side, his king is still in the middle of the board. Can I? Because now I'm thinking it's like, all right, I'm gonna have to run a little bit, run to safety. I did a couple mile run this morning, and so I guess it's time for my king to get a little exercise. But you can see it's not so easy for him because he knows if he goes for this attack and it doesn't work, he's going to give me a lot of counterplay. So he's got to figure this out a little bit too. Like, yeah, he could give check, but what do they say? That's just a serotonin hit. It's like, oh yeah, I checked. You don't get points for how many checks you give. There's no scoreboard that keeps track of that. So let's see. If he checks, yeah, if he checks, I'm running with the king. What if he castles queenside? What am I doing if he castles? I'm going to try and open the position. All right, so he checked. I'm running. Just running. Let's see. He's going to come in here with a check. Do I care? Let's finish the marathon. All right, we're going to just keep running. All right. All right, so I do need to be careful because he's got a fork here that he could give. So let's take the fork away. And let's see. There's some tension in the center here. We'll see if we can resolve this in a positive way. This bishop needs to get into the action. So I am just trying to throw everything at this castled king over here for a minute, with the idea that with the queen here, and then maybe the rook supporting, this is going to be messy for him. Because he's got to take recapture with the bishop, right? Yep. So I can't take the pawn because that just falls to a check. This bishop is still tied down a little bit, so let's move the rook and find a square for the knight to go. This pawn push is coming in a second. I do need to pay attention to his threats because my king is almost out of squares. So where do I put the knight that he's not in the way? Let's see. All right, let's see if we can infiltrate a little bit with the queen. I'm eyeing this e3 square as a possible point of infiltration. Interesting. So he went for the pawn. So So when he I can't run. That comes with a check, so I guess that's the choice. What am I doing? Aside from losing again. All right, this is 2 in a row that I think I'm going to end up lost. The check is meaningless. The queen and the rook are both on the rook, so let's come back, defend the rook. Just trying not to lose in spectacular fashion here. I guess I should try and lose in spectacular fashion if I'm going to lose, right? But I'm just trying to get myself into a position where I still have some counterplay, because I'm definitely a little tied up here. I'm down 2 pawns, and my king is really not feeling comfortable. So what can I do about it? Okay. So the idea here is that I can't take the rook because the queen falls, so I have to move in a place that and checkmate. All right. That is just about an hour exactly. I lost the last 2 games, and I am, where am I sitting for the rating? 1811. So I was 1200 at the start of the hour. I played my, went in, the rating jumped for the blitz rating that I had, and then it went ahead and shot me through the roof here. So since this is the last game I'm going to play, let's take a look at the game analysis. I don't know if you guys use this at all. I think it's a good feature. If you don't use it, you should think about using it. It gives you some reasonable ideas. It tells you where your first and last mistakes were. So Pirc played pretty normal moves. They didn't like b4. What did they like better? They liked the bishop up first. So defends the pawn. Maybe the idea is that when I push, you get a discovered attack later on. Let's see. From here, I guess I shouldn't have run. What are they saying I should have done? Attack the undefended pawn. Everything's tight here. Don't move the king until he makes me, I guess is the idea. Don't be afraid of ghosts. See, I thought that was a good move. I played that pretty quickly. What did they want me to do instead? Defend the pawn. He's got 3 attackers on it, so I should put 2 on it. Kind of guarantees that he doesn't get in. So I can see how that was a better idea. And I guess this is just losing for me now, because obviously they wanted me to take. But that's still going to be losing like that. Yeah, this position is still hugely advantage for white. So your opponent got the better of you. 2200 rating versus a 1650. So I did not play that game well. Oh, that is a new feature. I haven't seen that one before. Super cool. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked it, if you enjoyed watching this, come back, like, subscribe, check it out down the road. And I will see you guys in here again soon. Cheers.